Hello and welcome back to Roll the Bones. My name is Rob, and as ever I'm joined by my faithful players, Dom, Matt and Mike, and I will ask them the immortal question, the question on the words, the question of the words written in the stars. Don't know what I'm saying, we're running late, whatever. What happened previously on Knights of the Apocalypse?
It was just like that song about the ladybug running along home because its house was on fire.
Yeah?
And yeah,
halfway.
that's the real thing.
Halfway into a fight with the watch.
Yeah. To be fair, we were already in the fight, and it went pretty poorly, didn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty poorly.
I took a swift left turn. At the end of the last session, we were wiping them out. We were killing, and it was going well. And then it shifted.
Very suddenly.
Out of our favour very quickly when the big main dude got involved. And we had to flee.
The Knight Brother, was it?
And it was Knight Brother Enos, I remember.
Yes.
Knight Brother Enos, as I'm going to call him, because he burned my friggin' house down.
I think that's fair. I think
burned my
that's
house
fair,
down.
to be honest. Yeah,
That's fair. That is fair.
he is an anus.
Absolutely, total big anus.
I like that you, during the course of events, basically half of the session. During the course of events, we ran away.
Yeah,
Or following the course of events.
There was all sorts of fighting that went down, including dismissing of some of my summons. Ansel got trapped and had to go down a secret passage down the side of my house. Runyk got kind of trashed by some more dudes that came in the back door.
Because he had none of his special abilities left.
No PowerPoints left, so he was just screwed from the offset. Because he was just like, reload, twang, reload, twang. That was all he had. 2
points of damage.
2 points of damage.
Hey, Brigade of Wisp.
Everything was going to shit, and it felt a lot like, oh no, we've lost. Ansel then... Oh, I got incapacitated, didn't I, with a hold person. Rolled very badly against the hold person, so I was utterly paralysed. Ansel had no choice but to just get us the hell out of there, which meant that we couldn't even try and attempt to rescue Runyk.
A guy you've known less than a day.
You
have no idea what's happening to him now.
But he fought valiantly alongside us, didn't he? Against
You
a
have no
friggin'
idea
ghost
what's happened to
dragon.
him.
So, yeah, we think he's dead. We're just going to make the assumption that he is dead.
Wrong. He has taken much dexterity and constitution damage. His shins are gone. His chest is...
One thing that Death Ward can't protect you from. Shin damage.
Oh, yeah. And he has been captured. He was interrogated. But, again, some connections that Swiftstone has yet to fully talk about, except for the fact that, Runyk and Swiftstone have not really spoken about. But yes, Runyk put up a bit of a defense in terms of how he answered the questions in the interrogation. But honestly, some of them were genuinely true. It's like, what is the necromancer up to? He has no clue. He generally has no clue.
Genuinely doesn't know what's going on.
And you would argue
most of their lives.
genuinely the best person to have been captured because it has the least amount of knowledge about the overall mission. So yeah, I mean that worked to the company's favour, even if it wasn't entirely in Runyk's favour.
He then got knocked out, and when he came to, it was inside an Iron Maiden. And the last thing inside the Iron Maiden was Watch Captain Enos casting heat metal.
Oh, yeah.
Nasty.
Yes,
Like
yes.
a right meanie.
Trapped in an Iron Maiden with yes, he gave you a whole spiel at how he studied different classes and different to find the best methods of pain, and yes, his accomplice is a towering jailer with a hood that conceals his face, called Deadroot, who apparently is some disciple of the Lady of Snarewood, Drania, who you keep hearing about. What else? Obsidian and Ansel, the last we left them, they were making a plan or two in the Necro Cave.
They fled and then you say making a plan, I say struggling.
Yes, we spent a long time trying to think of a good plan and failing.
Yeah.
So we did it between games.
Neither of us are planners, really.
But you felt a hunger.
In real
In
life.
my defence, also, Ansel only has an intelligence of 10. So
Yeah. I think out of
He's
game
not a
we're
thinker.
struggling to come up with a plan. I don't think that's much of an excuse.
I was in character, not coming up with a
intelligence score, Dom.
well, it's less, but come on.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a negative modifier.
I think they sort of had some ideas, but were struggling to put them together into anything cohesive and coherent. But have since spent a bit of time.
They slept on it.
Yeah, they've definitely slept on it.
Well, you spoke to Swiftstone.
Yep.
Who was in a shop, possibly.
Maybe.
And you also experienced the hunger.
Well, we don't know it was the hunger.
Sort of.
We think it probably was, but we had to make saves, didn't we? That may have been the hunger, but thankfully we passed them.
You did make saves, and yeah, there was the...
Well, I think we passed them.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Bloody hope.
But that was something interesting as he dwelled upon as, the strangers, or what is left of the strangers, continued in plotting in a way to hopefully, one, rescue Obsidian's family, and two, put themselves in a confrontation, or at least put themselves in front of Apophis where they may do their deed and enact their plan. And that is where we return to the Knights of the Apocalypse. And today we're going to establish where we go first. So, as there's only one of you, Runyk, I'd like you to roll a d6. 1, 2, and 3, we'll start with you. 4, 5, and 6, we'll start with Obsidian and Ansel.
Definitively me.
Good. That gives us more time to think about it, Matt.
Okay, then. So, we'll stay just on the homepage for a moment as I ask this question. Runyk, I would like you to make a concentration check for me, please.
Yeah, slightly nerfed because my ribcage has been crushed.
Yes.
Or 23.
Okay. I'd like you to describe, if Runyk was to have a pleasant dream, what that pleasant dream would be.
He's not really had a pleasant dream. I imagine he would be feeling refreshed, surrounded by his friends, maybe some fellow dwarves, and he's oblivious. He's absolutely, completely lacking in knowledge. Ignorance is bliss, so to speak. And if he's having a pleasant dream, it is a dream of just not knowing.
And it is that bliss that you see your friends, new and old. You see friends that you probably haven't seen in years, standing alongside and conversing with friends recently made. Perhaps you see the mortician that you've learned is actually a necromancer. You see the tall fellow that appears to have an eerie gleaming light that seems to emanate from him somehow. But despite the odd nature of this interaction, all of your friends, all of your family appearing to get on well, you see the church that you are raised nearby. You see the sweeping plains of the lands that lead up to the Undercroft where you grew up. Not in the Undercroft, but on the plains before it. And then we see what's behind you, what you're not looking at, what you're deliberately not paying attention to. Because your concentration check was to try and put your mind in a place that distracts you from the horrors that your body is currently experiencing. Behind you, we see a towering figure in a black hood. At his side, there is a massive axe, and from him there appears to be vines that are creeping up behind you, and then around you, and through you. You are feeling these thorns contorting inside parts of your flesh. Yet your concentration check is enough to resist, enough to put your mind in a space that even though you physically are going through horror, your mind is able to rest. Because of that concentration roll, that means, and I've worked out depending on how well you roll, depending on how much you would get, you are entitled to a third of the power points you would usually get from a rest. So you kind of Sherlock Holmes mind palace it. You disassociate from your body to rest despite the horrors that are inflicted upon you. And that is where we return to Runyk. Runyk, you
went
are
all sumo.
Sort of coming back into consciousness. You feel like you have the memory that you were recently thrown into a different cell. And that is where we find you, in a cell, a cold, dark cell. As you sort of crack your eyes open, you note that there are a number of other cells around you. This is where you had first encountered Knight Brother Enos. And this is where he had had his initial conversation with you. Now you're able to pay a bit more attention to the surroundings. You see that the cell that you're in is like partially like overgrown with thorns. Nothing in comparison to the one that is directly opposite you, which has these like vines like roiling in and out of the bars, and if you squint very carefully you think you can see the remains of someone who used to inhabit that cell. In actuality, those are the player figures of Obsidian and Ansel, so they can see on the map. But
I was going to say, we've been captured.
But for that, in terms of purposes, you just see two like forms just ripped to shreds.
Let me out.
You can hear the heavy footsteps of a dreadful presence that you are becoming familiar with in your waking dreams. The presence that is Deadroot, as he was introduced to you. And I ask, Runyk, as we return to your plight, as we return to your misery, what is it that you want to do?
Oh. Well, I'm having a quick look at what I could... So, my total amount of power points is slightly less. But I actually had to quickly double check. It's not as less as I thought, thankfully.
Okay, that's good.
5 points.
Fantastic. Okay.
But what does he want to do? For one, I don't want to get into a fight. because I will not survive. I think I've got... Well, I don't know if I've cured any ability damage yet, because I don't know how long I've been there.
Oh, right, okay, so this would have been the equivalent of a rest for you. This would have taken place at the same time. If we think of our position with Obsidian and Ansel, they got a rest in, so your rest would have occurred around the same time. So you'll have a 1 point of ability loss back for each one that you lost, so for Dex and Con. And you also get whatever health, so your level, isn't it?
That means, because of what I took, I have 12 hit points.
Right. Okay. Good
lucky
to know.
boy.
Lucky.
But my maximum...
what I wouldn't give for 12 hit points. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be spat in the face.
It did knock my health back up. So my max health has gone up to 56 at this point.
Okay. Yep.
But first thing Runyk will do is going to mentally reach out to Borin.
Yes. Oh my goodness, Borin. You don't need to do anything with that, do you? You can just sort of sense him, can't you?
Yeah, as long as he's within a mile.
Yes, he's actually very close indeed. But apparently not on my usual token thing. So bear with me a second whilst I find him. He is incredibly close. Is there a way for you to determine how close that might be, or?
Pretty much. I could gauge.
Okay.
I'm not going to... I can't see through him, but I know where he is, and he can describe around me a mental picture.
That's right, yeah, sorry, because I remember you used him to scout ahead. That's absolutely correct. So he could give you sort of like a mental description of where he is. And Borin, you hear his voice say, "Have you been enjoying your lie-in, Runyk?"
This is all obviously telepathic at this point, but this is not the time, Borin. This is just no. I can hardly walk. I can hardly breathe. Where are you? As in,
you notice that there is a flash of yellowy orange light that comes from the grate directly in front of your jail cell. I'm closer than you might think, Runyk. Close enough to catch your stench, anyway.
didn't know you had a nose.
I don't. That's how bad it is. And he's sort of like, like, so you could just see like the flash. So he is concealed beneath that grate there, but you can now see he is there. Hopefully you have control of him. I copied him from the other map that you used him on last, in the bowels of the ruins of Pelor. He is able to come to the bars, and he will say, that great hulking brute is on the far side of the room, but he is not the only company you have. And there's sort of like a flash of like pings and sort of like laser pointer pens over to the cell, not directly opposite, but one down. Your eyes fall on like the ruined form of Brigand of Whist, who appears to be motionless in the cell there as well.
Okay. Borin, were you with my supplies? And where are they?
I have taken the liberty of locating all of your supplies. Well, they're not much good to you in there, are they, Runyk?
Yes, well, it helps to map out a plan if you tell me where they are.
If you were to leave the door at the far end of this cell and then take a left, you would find a long corridor, and within that corridor there appears to be some space where inventory is kept. There, along with a number of other items, as I can see, is where your belongings are kept.
I see. Okay. Mentally ticking off fingers here. I need you to drop the sass for a moment until we can get out of here, and then I promise you can sass me all you want. But we got to get out of here. I have a plan to get out of these bars. But that leaves Deadwood.
Yeah, so it doesn't appear to be a particularly friendly sword. How exactly are you going to best that towering behemoth?
He seems all muscle, but it's hard to say.
You hear a gadunk, 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 gadunk. Thorns and vines appear to follow him for a moment. The great towering figure of Deadwood will arrive at the bars. At this point, I imagined Borin had come inside the cell with you through the bars. He could fly through the bars. He would be.
Yeah, he's tiny, he's diminutive.
Yeah, so but even if you were to see him, you don't think that this guy particularly cares. He's obviously heard you muttering, and you've not heard him utter a word himself. He brings up the truncheon that he has on his belt, and then just brings it clanging down on the bars. He gives a growl of warning. Effectively, you can only imagine telling you to shut up before continuing on his patrol back down into the other part of the cell. You don't have long, Runyk. Every moment that you linger is another moment you will grow weaker.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
Gonna have to push you, mate. Unless you want us to jump away if you need time to think.
I want to do a check to gauge if I can see, because he said he was a druid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just wanted to. I don't know if there is a kind of check to gauge like how strong are we talking?
Yeah, if you could sense any kind of power coming from him. Yeah. That's interesting because obviously you were talking about like natural divine magic and your psionics. They don't. I don't know whether you'd be able to read that unless there's something on your sheet that you think you could argue.
The most I could argue would be read thoughts.
Well, that's not a skill, is it? That's an ability, right? Yeah, okay, I'll allow you to do that.
Power.
I'll allow you to do that, sure. He might know about it, you will have to learn. Is read thought something that you can do without people realising?
I can do any psionic power without any form of display if I make a DC 15 plus the power level.
Okay, then let's do that then, and then that will allow us to determine whether or not it's done subtly or not then. Great. So DC 15 plus the power level, which is?
Power level 2.
So DC 17 then. Let's have it. Whatever you've been doing in your cell to resist the pangs and horrors of torture has actually like reinforced your powers, and you're able to read his mind. You can tell that he is much more fighter than he is druid. You can tell some mysterious power to him, but you can also tell from that that there aren't really so much thoughts as projected thoughts. It's how best to describe this? Can you give me? You have all knowledges, don't you?
I do.
Can you give me a knowledge religion check?
Yes. $16.
So yeah, you know he's definitely more fighter than druid, but he does have some druidic craft to him, but of a decaying sort. A lot of people make the mistake that druids are always like based in like magic of life, when in fact death is as much a part of nature than anything else. This dead root doesn't appear to be living.
As in he seems
he works
dead.
for the watch, those fucking hypocrites.
As in he seems like he's dead.
It seems like he's undead with that religion check. It was DC 15 and you got 16, so you know he's undead. You know he has much more of a fighter than he is a druid, but a druid he is regardless.
This makes things a little bit simpler. Borin, I'm a little stuck on the floor here. Would you rattle yourself against the bars, please?
Yes, I would be more than happy to do so. I hope you have a plan, Runyk. And he will start clanging on the side of the bars, the crystalline surface of him sounding strange notes humming into the cell.
As he does, I'm not going to try and hold out, but I'm going to attempt to get my psionic focus. So DC 20 concentration. Nah, that's alright.
Deadroot comes stumping back to where he was before, and draws to about here.
Immediately as he gets there,
Yeah.
I am going to pull in the light of the room. I can't over-channel this. I can't do much else. But I'm going to try and pull in all the light of the room, what little there is, as I act as a celestial conduit.
Oh no! Okay.
So that's 9 power points of my precious few. So he needs to make a reflex save.
How many did you start with?
36.
How many have you used now?
9, right?
12.
12.
Yeah, plus the read thoughts, yeah.
Yeah.
Reflex save of what, please, Runyk?
20.
That is a 9.
Oh, that means he takes not as much against the dragon. It is, yeah. Oh, 55 damage because he's undead.
That's a lot of 6s in there.
It is a lot of 6s.
The great hulking creature just stands there, and you see these vines curling over its shoulders, like some macabre version of Doc Ock almost. And it looks at you with like dead eyes through the mask. How do you immediately destroy Deadroot?
It's as if a positive energy is bursting out of him like a tree coming to life from within, like a dead trunk. And it's as if the light itself is just growing out of him, breaking away and shedding the darkness that was Deadroot, leaving behind just a husk
Yeah, and the roots behind him as well sort of like collapse in as he turns to dust. You imagine some kind of vampiric form was the makeup of this dreaded jailer, but he collapses to the ground now in dust and broken barbs and thorns. You also note that the blast of your power appears to have like melted part of the bars. The cage doesn't seem quite as intact anymore.
Okay. Is my movement speed impeded?
Yes, it is. So let's see. I have to bring up the critical table because it is as the critical table. Bear with 1 second. Let's see. It's somewhere. Here it is. So you're... So actually it was, as per the critical table, you would have had 1d4 hours of minus 20 movement.
So 0.
So now, but now because of the fact that you have had 8 hours, so no matter what you rolled on that die, that would now have returned to you. So your concentration has meant that you've managed to nip back enough of your physical health that you can now walk unimpeded. We will say, in terms of story, you're probably still in massive amounts of agony. No one just walks away from the beating that you had yesterday just fine. But yeah, you're able to move at your speed.
Right. Okay. I'm going to do a search on him to see if there's any keys.
Yeah, very good. No search required. 3 things are upon him: a great axe, a cudgel, and a ring of keys.
Right. I'll hoik the great axe.
Not come across the magical item ring of keys before.
I can't.
I wonder why.
Well, I think I'll keep the great axe with me for the moment. But with the keys, I'll make my way slowly over to Brigad.
You arrive.
Straight through.
Yeah, I haven't done it to all the cells. Just that one. You arrive at Brigad's cell, and he is stirring, and he cracks his eyes open. You imagine disturbed by the significant blast of power that just tore through Deadroot in one. He will look up at you from the ground and say, "It's a neat trick." Boram will say, "Yes, it's a pity he didn't do that before we got locked in this place."
There's a time and a place. From what deep parts of my personality did I make you? Really? I don't know.
Only you can answer that question. Only you.
Beg to find out. Right, come on then. Did I catch your name? You fought valiantly, that's all I remember.
I did introduce myself, but we were under duress, so I forgive you for forgetting. I am Brigad of Whist. I am the steward of the Necrowagon and of the properties of Obsidian Graves for a time.
I see. I'm Runyk, Azure Son. Freelance, contractor, that sort of thing. And
well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I wish it was in a better scenario than this. I would stand. Yeah, you can't enter his cell Oh, yes, you can. I do apologise. Yes, you have the keys. You unlock the cell. I do apologise. You're able to come in, and he says, "I fear I may need more than a hand." You look, and you see that whereas you have had time now, or at least you've had the ability to sort of repair yourself using your psionic connection, Brigid has no such luxury, and is, you can see, fresh from a recent beating. So he is currently at -20 to movement.
Oh, I'm sorry about your legs.
Not as sorry as I am.
Well, you can stay here, or I can attempt to get you out of here.
There is no sense in you endangering yourself for me. I appreciate I appreciate the suggestion, but I fear if I were to tag along, I'd only slow you down.
Okay. How about this? I'll look ahead. If I can plan a safe way, I'll come back and get you. If I can't, I'll bring reinforcements.
You must. You must. If you get out, if you speak to Obsidian, then you must know, you must let them know that they have his wife.
Did you catch where?
No, but as I understand it, they seek to use her in some leverage. They asked me many questions about them in particular.
They asked me plenty, and honestly, I haven't a clue.
I have known them far longer than you, Runyk.
Well, pray we get to them in time.
They could be anywhere.
Well, if I find someone, I might be able to find out. For now, though.
As you begin to move away, his hand reaches out and grasps yours, and he says, "Runyk, if I don't make it, I need you to tell the others. I need you to tell the others to send the money to my family." His hand is shaking, and a grip on yours like a steel vice, and he says, "My life has been naught but ruin and failure. It is fitting that this may be my end, but at least some good could come of me coming here, that the fortunes of those that I love are restored. Please, promise me. Promise me!"
You have my word.
Very good. You don't happen to have a book on you to help me pass the time?
I don't happen to have anything, I'm afraid.
Understandable. He looks up and, obviously you're completely naked but for a loincloth, so I guess he's probably delusional, probably not quite thinking straight. Very good. Go now, Runyk. Go now. And don't look back. Don't look back.
I'll lock your door. Right. Hang on. Boran, you didn't tell me there was someone else here.
Everyone else here appears to be wrecked, physically or dead. You see that there are a number of people in the cells closest to the door that are just completely impaled with thorns and barbs from Deadroot's machinations.
Okay.
This guy
Right.
here, the one next to you there, is just out cold.
If we get the chance, Borin, we'll come back.
But of course, our first day was so delightful.
We don't die today, you know this.
That's true.
Right.
You move to the heavy oaken door and open it. There appears to be a figure in a brown robe. You didn't say that you made any attempt to open the door silently, did you?
Runyk could not open the door silently to save his life. He is so poor in dexterity.
Initiative!
Oh.
I don't see an initiative roll unless you've not...
I had to figure out what it was.
Okay. Oh, of course, yes, because of your dexterity damage, of course. Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
55. You can't see that there?
Yeah. You acted yesterday. No, you Oh,
Go back to before
dear.
you were caught.
Oh, dear.
Oh, shit.
Oh...
Runyk wakes up in his cell again.
Hey! A watch acolyte who has been stood at the door wheels around, miraculously having not heard the blast of power, turns round, cudgel in hand, takes a free 5-foot step as he goes first. Armor class.
11.
The cudgel lands heavy upon your shoulder, dealing 4 points of bludgeoning damage. Bam! That's his turn.
Non-lethal or lethal?
Non-lethal.
Okay.
Oh, I stopped the music.
End of fight.
Yeah, right.
It was brief and violent.
Okay, this is going to be a risk. We like a risk. As a move action, I'm going to attempt to psionically focus. Yes, DC 20.
Very good. You silently focus. What do you do?
I reach into this one's mind. Like 2 hands grabbing his brain.
Oh my word.
Not literally, just...
Yeah. Your influence. Yes.
Yes. Can you make a will save of 21 as I expend my psionic focus?
No, he cannot.
Excellent. He has been dominated psionically.
Like his mind just goes blank as you inflict your will upon him. How long does that last? Is that like dominate person?
It is. It is one. It's not actually. Depending on the amount of power points I spend, is how long it lasts. This version, there's 2. The basic is as I concentrate, but I put the extra bit into it, so it only lasts for 1 hour. But that's all we need, hopefully.
Very good. He stands there sort of inert, a puppet to your whim. You see over his shoulder there appears to be a number of just cages built into the wall. You realise, Runyk, that you're in the lap of luxury with a 3x3 cell of your own. The ones here is barely enough to stand in, the ones that you see directly ahead of you. Can you perform a listen check for me, please? Because, well, depending on what you hear, will be...
8.
You don't hear anything.
That's fine. As he's just standing there waiting, these are all going to be very direct for the time being, but
that's fine. Yeah, we'll go with it.
walk over there.
He walks.
As I point towards the wall here. Yeah.
Yep, he stands there.
Warren.
You hear a shout from down the corridor. What was that? The man just stands there blankly.
Answer, it was nothing. Again.
It was nothing.
Being...
Sure didn't sound like nothing.
As this is psionic domination, I imagine I can do this as a mental kind of...
No, yeah, that's fine.
Tell him Deathroot just slipped, but everything's okay.
Deathroot slipped, but everything is okay. Alright. Really, he slipped? I would not think it possible. The man is so large, I'd have thought an earthquake would have ruptured from where he fell. Yeah, says another. Good one. Shut up, says the other voice.
Give a nod and keep patrolling all of those cells.
He nods. So by that do you mean the ones down the corridor that he's currently in?
The 4 that I can see.
Okay, yeah, so he just walks back and forth between those 4 that you see then.
Warren.
Yes?
What do you see?
I can see 2 more of them. They appear to be standing before that that table that I made a note of before. That is the place where inventory is kept. That is where your gear is, Runyk. That is where, if you want to retrieve your belongings, that is where you'll have to go. And as you dwell on that, then we will move away. Obsidian, Ansel. You have rested, and you've spent a good portion of the night plotting and considering your options. I've just realised I need to bring this map up a bit closer so it'll be a bit more convenient for me. There we are. So we'll move to you. We'll start with Ansel. What have you been doing? The last time we spoke with you, you just started hatching the plan, really. So, what are you... You can both tell me what you've been doing, really. Like, what's the situation?
I suspect a lot of pacing backwards and forwards, lying down and standing back up. However, I think the decision we came to was initially find Gao, son of Gao, and Kidos.
Yep.
Or do we not want to wait for that? Is that a bit long?
I don't.
Just get Swiftstone.
I think that Ansel would have to convince Obsidian to do that because Obsidian just if we need Swiftstone, if this is what we're going to do, we need to just do it. He's kind of he's hyper focused and hyper intent on just get it done because obviously his family. So if you think finding them is a good idea, and you would have maybe
it's not essential. I think it would be potentially better, but not only in an emergency.
Yeah, I agree. I think they would have been less Obsidian's panicked. He is stricken completely, fried. You know, he's kind of half in his necromancer gear. Lots of pacing. He's currently sat on a grave, on a tomb, and his legs are kicking, kind of thing, fidgeting. I think they've just in between, barely sleeping, plotting, discussing.
Yeah, let's get Swiftstone then and skip the other allies.
For sure. So we need to get the sending stone back on the go.
Yes, very good. You hold it aloft. That strange gleaming blue gem. It gives a light as you use it to contact Swiftstone. There is a moment's pause, please, between.
Dial.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's only the one speed dial, so there we go. Good morning. I hope you managed to get some rest after what you've been through.
Barely. Barely.
Oh no, didn't you speak to him? I think you spoke to him earlier, actually, so he would have spoken to you this morning, I believe. But have you come to any conclusion?
We have concocted a plan. Probably an ill-advised plan.
Scheme. Call it a scheme.
Both killed. But before we are killed, we will rescue those we need to. So we need your help.
Oh, aye. Well, I'm more than happy to give it.
It is a lot to ask.
It's nothing to ask. I feel somewhat responsible having used your home as a sort of headquarters myself to meet you. So,
are you aware of I can't remember the name of this graveyard that we're in, Rob, to be honest.
Silent Rest Graveyard, yes.
Silent Rest, that's the one. So the Silent Rest Graveyard.
Aye, I know it well.
We need you to make your way to the Silent Rest Graveyard. We are bunkered in a tomb in the back of the graveyard. We intend to use a magic spell to place ourselves within 2 small crystals. We then need you, using your sneaky sneak, to get us close. When I say close, I mean as close as you can. Hopefully, I mean within 200 feet of 2 members of the Watch. We believe that the Watch will be... Some members of the Watch will be left guarding Graves & Co., my home. If you can get those crystals close enough that we might be able to use this magic, then we can take possession of 2 of the guards, and then we will take it from there.
And what if there are more than 2 of them?
If there are more than 2 of them, that actually is a good thing. That gives us the opportunity to try again if we fail on any of them. Once we have possession of them, they won't change physically. No one will know they're possessed. We just play the part.
Well, I've taken the liberty of doing a bit of our investigation, and it would seem that, yes indeed, Graves & Co. is being watched by a number of the Watch. Last I counted, there are about 6 of them in the area. Whether you'll run into all 6 of them is remains to be seen. I have also conducted some other business. I have been in contact with Danico of the Dragon Guard.
Okay.
He awaits a signal that will be given.
A signal for what?
Well, the Dragon Guard, they're not in the castle at the moment. They have taken vigil outside, and the Watch have taken primary control of the castle, along with the castle guard that appear to be in the full influence of Apophis. But if you need the Dragon Guard at your back, well, I need only say the word, but it has to be at the right time.
Okay. Noted.
Good to know.
That is good to know.
They're not blind to what is occurring here, and it is their sacred duty that is being defiled by the presence of them witch hunters in the castle. But it is by order of the first voice who speaks with the voice of the king until a new one is crowned. So, or at least until the heir arrives, which is not yet for some time.
Okay. How long do you think until you can reach us, till you can be here?
I'll be there within the hour. Make your preparations and I'll be there shortly.
Excellent.
The line goes dead, and is there anything that you'd like to do in that hour? Because like he'll arrive and be ready to rock and roll whenever you want. So.
Oh, look at that. I knew that already. I don't know why I'd, for some reason, gone, that spell takes an hour to cast. No, it doesn't. It's a standard action. I'll just get to 2 crystals ready, small ones, and they have to be worth at least 100 gold pieces each. So basically, Rob, because you gave us a bunch of gems and crystals and stuff, which we hadn't been and got sort of valued and tried to sell or anything yet. So what I would say is just take 100 off of 200, sorry, off of the value of those when we find out what the value is. Or did we find out the value?
Whose dog is it, though?
It's mine this time. Bless him. He wants to go outside. Yeah, I think I probably gave you the value when I gave them to you.
I wrote down the crystals, but I
they were saying
how long ago it was.
They were fairly significant in value. So give me a D6, please. Give me a D6 roll, please.
6.
6,000 gold pieces worth of gems you found in the in the bowels
nice
of the ruins of Pelor.
Excellent. Well, I will search around and find 2 good ones. And just because I think it probably helps, right? If the crystal is like more suited to the person, so something sort of opalescent for Ansel, something moonlight-esque, and obviously something black, but with probably like hints of like a grey vein going through it.
It's a veiny one.
Yeah. For obsidian and.
A jet.
Just prepare the spell, which will be cast twice, which is 2 of my top level spells.
Did you want this potion until bring down the potion of Eagle Splendor? Is that helpful?
Yeah, so it is. Basically, what the spell does, once it's cast, I don't have to cast it. So it's like casting, what's the one that Rob loves? The contingency. I say Rob loves it. We all love it. It's a brilliant spell.
I do love it. It's a good spell.
Like
Rob does love it,
the DC for the spell that comes up later will be the DC as you cast it. So as I cast the spell, if I'm under the influence of an Eagle Splendor, the magic is there as it was. So if my DC is higher, if my charisma is higher when I cast it, it means that when we try and take possession and stuff like that later on, we have a slightly better chance. So definitely, I'll wait until Swiftstone is here, quaff that as I'm going to cast the spell.
Yeah, very good. Well, in that case, here he is. After a while, you see the shadowy form of the dwarf, cloaked, descend the stairs, and he'll look around and say, "Nice place you got here."
We've been doing it up.
Serves its purpose.
Aye.
I think that basically, I think we're just going to have to leave our bodies, just like along with Silaster.
Can you look after them for us, Swiftstone? Can you bring them to us in emergency?
And
Bury them.
Your bodies? You want me to bring you with us?
I mean, that's going to be very
Not
difficult.
Immediately. Later, if there's a problem.
I will have had this discussion with Ansel a bit earlier, just to clarify. In fact, yeah, this is just... sorry, this is sort of backtracking a tiny bit, because this is a conversation that would have happened a little bit earlier, but just
That's
to make
fine.
this...
That's fine.
There's a very clear thing. Ansel, this mission, as far as I'm concerned, is primarily to rescue my family. As far as secondary goals are concerned, Apophis is a major target, and we want to get rid of the Watch so that we can carry on working towards restoring the city, banishing the major necromantic threat and all of that. But first and foremost, this is about my family, and I will happily risk my life for them. And so I'm not going to be interested about bringing my body with me or anything like that. I'm just going to full on for this spell and commit to it. But it is asking a lot of you. And I know that in the past you've said to me, when you were referring to yourself and Silaster, that you would not be mourned. Just as a point, I just want to make it clear, as evidenced by what happened with Silaster, that I believe you were mistaken.
That's very kind of you to say, Bogram. But I'm with you. I believe my life is worth the smallest fraction of a single member of your family.
I will not forget it. Yeah, and I think then they probably get themselves... They probably do the normal prep, actually, before Swiftstone gets on and get all your
Can
kit
I
back
ask
on.
a question?
Tighten up all your...
I'm not entirely sure what it is you're planning, but you're saying that you want me to look after your bodies?
No, the bodies will remain here. And once we gain control of two members of the Watch, we will. We need to arrange a meeting place with you afterwards so that we can retrieve the two crystals from you, so that we have our own crystals on us, basically.
All right. And then you mean to use these members of the Watch
return to our own bodies.
All right. I was just checking, because you're leaving your bodies, you're also leaving your items and your kit. I hate to see what would become of you if you were to go in there without being at full strength, is all I was concerned about.
Absolutely. It is a problem. I mean, we don't have much of a choice.
So let me get this straight. You want me to take you in crystalline form to get near two members of the Watch?
Yes.
All right, do what you need to do, and let's get on with it. They won't see me.
Ansel, how much weaker are you going to be without your stuff? With whatever the Watch. Remember the Watch, so basically with the spell, you will have the physical abilities, so strength, dexterity, and constitution. Also, just as a point, the constitution score, so your hit points will change, of the body that you possess, but your mental ability scores remain as your own. So your actual physical attacks might go up, your abilities and your class abilities will be the same. So whether you'll be able to wield their weapons,
I might have to take some armor off, depending on what it is. There are a couple of items that, given the choice, I would take with me.
Yeah.
But if we're retrieving things from Swiftstone, you could carry a chasuble or what's my other thing that's actually really useful?
I just wanted to check because if the worst comes to worst and you infiltrate the castle as these two thugs, you're not exactly going to be at your best if you come to face the full might of the Watch and whoever Apophis orders.
I suppose what we could do is when we meet Swiftstone afterwards to retrieve the 2 crystals, we could also retrieve our belongings in the bag of holding. So, like, a couple of the most important ones. So, say I could just grab my cloak of charisma to put on. Obviously, it wouldn't work to put on straight away because it would be very obvious that I'm wearing a big black cloak, but when needed.
All right, down to your skivvies then. What we will say, just for simplicity, you will doff all of your stuff that you're wearing currently. You'll be able to put it in the bag of holding so that when you do take control of these Watch members, you will just be able to put your stuff on. So you will effectively just be acting as you, but in the skin of different people. Sound fair?
Cool.
When we need to, it's going to be very obvious I'm wearing a bloody great skull.
Yeah. I don't mean to infiltrate. I mean,
so once
when
we're
you're
within the castle,
cool
and in a good position to do so, we can find a spot, change gear.
I would hate for you to go in there and suddenly realise.
No, that's a really good call, man. But before that happens, I will remember to take.
Very good.
It's a cloak of charisma +2 I'm wearing, so I'll only be taking 1 point off my charisma for any rolls that I make, bluff rolls and whatever, which is fine.
Very good. Okay, so in that case then, Runyk will say, well, off you go. I'll wait. I can turn around if you prefer. I won't watch.
Lowered up the bag of holding. Plunk that on the floor, ready for Swiftstone to take it. Say, right, we can sense when there's more people outside, but we won't know exactly when to do this. So what is the time frame before you put us in front of 2 members of the Watch?
Well, like I say, there'll be people watching Graves and Co. It'll literally be within the hour. Easy.
Right. Within the hour. So if we... Let me just quickly read the spell description one more time. This is how this works. Medium range, 100 feet plus 10 feet per level. Feet per caster level. Right, okay. So we can sense any creature within 10 feet per caster level. So 100 feet. Actually, I can sense them. I could cast the spell further if I was casting it on the spot, but it's going to have to be 100 feet in order to sense them. But we will sense the members of the Watch. You do not need line of effect from the jars of the creatures.
Okay, yep.
Can sense a difference of 4 or more hit dice. Now, I'm going to assume that the members of the Watch are going to be slightly tougher in general than the general public, and that is how we're going to know when they're members of the Watch. Right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yep.
So once we sense about 6 members that are slightly higher in hit dice than the people around them, than people further afield or whatever, that's when we'll go for it and try and take possession to them. Okay. Just working out the logistics of the spell. And I will cast it on Ansel first.
Yeah, by all means.
Good luck.
So I quaff the potion, and I'm doing it. I'll say to Swiftstone, "Can you put the cloak in the?" I'm in my underwear with my cloak of charisma. That's it. Like, can you just put this cloak of charisma in the bag off my body?
Yes, all right.
Right, just so that the spell is cast at full potency.
It was the last time you had a bath, man.
It's been a few days, and we were in very smoky conditions yesterday. So yeah, I initially cast it on Ansel. So I place my hand on his shoulder. I say some words, holding the crystal in my hand, and essentially, I don't think it looks like anything much. It's quite a non-suspicious kind of spell because it's meant to be a kind of subterfuge type of thing. So it's not. There's a small glint in the crystal as Ansel's body just collapses, essentially dead.
Oh my word!
And Ansel is now within the crystal. And then I hold up my own.
Are you sure about this?
I say, no, not at all. And then to myself, I say, Fanaya. And then I also fall down dead as there's a glint of life in the crystal. And that is the last thing we're aware of, apart from, obviously, Swiftstone's life force nearby.
Yeah, so this is a really peculiar feeling then. So you don't hear anything then? You don't sense anything other than life force currently, right?
Well, do you know what? I actually... it's in the it's in the comic books of the Infinity Saga as opposed to the film, but it's kind of in the film where they're inside like the Soul Stone, only it's the Mind Stone in the film. But I kind of think they're in this sort of stood as themselves. You can see yourself, and around you is a kind of open, just void world of a similar color to the crystal that you were in. And the life forces show up as kind of distant shadows, closer and further away, depending on how far and close they are in real life and how powerful they are and stuff. So we can kind of get an idea of Swiftstone's life force outside, but it's like you're in the Matrix. You're inside the crystal as a sort of version of yourself, and it is really strange because you're sort of you're you, but it's all in your head in this crystal.
And yeah, that's amazing, and I love that description, and that's exactly what you experience then. There will be what feels like, I'd say it would feel like eternity, but maybe you just lose all sense of time. So maybe it happens in a moment, maybe it happens in what could feel like hours and hours and hours passing, but eventually you feel the presence of other individuals nearby. I guess we're just going to have to move you over, I think. It would make sense.
Eagle's Splendor is +4, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Right, which would make it +2 because I've already got a +2 from my cloak and it doesn't stack. So it's basically an extra 1 on my spell DC.
Okay, sorry, bear with me 1 second.
All right.
You feel the life force that is closest to you, that is Swiftstone, and it's almost like you feel like a breeze. You feel like a shadow moving from place to place. This sort of represents the movements of Swiftstone as he adopts his stealth training, effectively, as a member of the Court of Whispers. We don't give Swiftstone enough credit for his silent operations, because you've never been on him with one. It's not your modus operandi, but it is his. And eventually, you begin to sense those life forces. You begin to feel. You see, on the edge of vision, both of you, in this mystical, abstract world, brilliant beams of puritanically white light. But within its centre, a thorn of darkness running through it. And you each recognise how it feels to be in the presence of people like this. You are so close, probably as close as you're going to get. What do you do?
Guess we'll... Are you ready to jump?
Yeah. References. I understood that reference. Love it. Yeah, I'm ready. Just choose one, and we go for it. And that one has to make the save, basically.
Yeah.
Attempting to possess a body is a full round action. It's just a will save for them. So we choose one.
Okay. You can choose.
We don't both choose the. We both choose the same one, and we end up in the same one.
No, by all means, you can
Fighting for
absolutely
control.
You can choose which ones you go for. By all means. You see them, don't you?
Yeah.
So you sense these four pillars of
four dudes.
Pure light, slightly corrupted and tainted in some strange way. No matter how good they say they are, you know that they are never truly. They're not truly good. So yeah, they've got to make a save. Have they? What's the save?
The save is now DC 24.
Who's making them out of those four?
I would like to go for this dude in the yellow at the back.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was going to go for the guy next to him.
Okay. Yellow first of all. That is a failure on his part. He fails to save. The other one, as you can probably imagine, slightly better, will.
Oh.
Looks to be in... Well, you wouldn't know this, but looks to be in a much better robes. Even worse. So what is it like as somehow your essences are transferred from the magic jar gems that you've created and switch places with them, right?
Yeah, I think this is an attack of your own. It's how your life force... I think you have to attack and drag their life force into the crystal and then switch places with them, essentially. Obsidian does it through sheer desperation. It's just sheer desperation. He grabs him by the hair, by his robes, and he's just wrestles with him, and it's just for his family. He just desperately grabbing and eventually manages to overpower him, and then steps into his body, and is just aware of these kind of foreign hands.
And because this, as you said, was some kind of... Oh, no, sorry, Ansel. You describe what it's like as Ansel leaps out of the crystal.
So I think it's slightly different for Ansel. I think he's even more distorted in the I don't know, metaphysical plane or whatever you'd call it, and he's even longer and spinier and slender, and he just reaches around this guy just arms wrapping round and round and round. Too many joints for an arm to have, and it just sort of winds in and pulls him into the crystal.
Incredible. Now, Matt, you said
Stuff of nightmares.
very much the stuff of nightmares, and also you mentioned that that this is a stealthy action, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, so there isn't any. There's obviously verbal and somatic, whatever, when it's cast initially, but the initial casting was on the crystals. So actually doing it. It doesn't. It's not. It doesn't really describe it in the spell as to like what it looks like or anything. So I just sort of imagine that's all metaphysical, and then you're just possessing them. They might kind of go woozy or whatever.
Okay.
But no, you're just within their body.
Yeah. So there is like a jolt as suddenly both of you come to the waking world, and you are both stood directly behind two members of the watch. Ansel, you look down and see that you are significantly shorter than you usually are, and wearing this rather decorative, resplendent-looking red garb that you've seen some of the watch acolytes wear. And Obsidian, as you look down, you're in the basic garb of like one of the lower brothers of the watch. In a really, really uncomfortable, like, woolen, coarse fabric of a robe. And you're standing behind two members of the watch that say, "Announce your business, dwarf, or we'll be forced to take you in." Swiftstone says, I honestly don't know what you're trying to pull here, lads. I know for a fact you don't live here. Look at the state of the place.
Take out the other two.
Look at the state of the place. Yeah, well, let's see if this is going to be really difficult, but they will get a check to see if they've noticed any weirdness happen as their partners behind them jolt in this weird effect. They don't appear to have noticed. They're sort of like both kind of like standing up to Swiftstone, who is doing his best to improvise his way, not certain of what's happening himself.
Dom, this is for you, and this was a thing I should have. It simplifies things, but it also makes things slightly more risky because we will need to know this. You keep your intelligence, wisdom, charisma, level, class, base attack bonus, base save bonuses, alignment, and mental abilities. However, the body retains its strength, dexterity, constitution, hit points, natural abilities, and automatic abilities. So we don't just change our con, we just get their hit points. Which is a bit scary, because I don't think they have a massive amount.
So what did you get there, sorry?
Less than me as well. If there's, we just get hit points and like race abilities, is that what you said?
Natural abilities and automatic abilities. So, if we were to do this to a troll, and they regenerate, you would regenerate naturally. But because they're just humans, that isn't relevant.
Yeah. So human. But for the sake of things, I'm happy for you to keep what you are as you. That's fine. I think it just saves you having to do a whole lot of mess. So both of you, because you did this without them realizing, you have a surprise round. How would you like to go about that? And you can roll off to see who goes first, or you can choose. Entirely up to you. Swiftstone can't act in the surprise round as he's in front of them, so
I think Ansel is probably better. What weapons are we holding right now? Are we holding cudgels?
Yeah, the cudgels of the watch. It's just a standard cudgel, 1d6 plus strength. Non-lethal.
We both use our natural, well, not necessarily natural, supernatural
I would say
weapons anyway, don't
I
we?
will let Ansel go first, but we'll probably basically act at the same time. Ansel, you're I think better at attacking than I am.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I would just take 2 claw attacks on him.
Yeah, sure. So from this member of the Watch's hands come the familiar crescent claws. Make your attacks.
amazing.
26
Is a hit against one.
to hit. And the second... 22. And they're both on his touch anyway, so...
Yeah, both
Didn't need to roll that
land easily upon his ACs.
So it is... Oh, that's a lot of ones. 31 points of damage, just 2 claws sink into his back from 10 feet away.
How do you immediately kill the Watch acolyte?
I think he sinks the things in and then lifts him into the air and rips apart.
And you just watch Swiftstone's sort of like face of pretense go into like a dark smile under his hood, like under his beard. That's Ansel's surprise round. Obsidian, what's your surprise round?
Yeah, I think like under the hood as well, like as Ansel came into the body, you would just see the like his classic sort of smile appear through the shadows of the cowl.
So cool, and like a glint of crescent moons in the darkness of the hood, maybe.
Yes,
I love
yes.
it. Yep. Obsidian, what's your surprise round action?
Obsidian's base attack is so low that I think he will still stick to magic. So he will take a 5-foot step forward and just go for a touch attack.
Yeah. So you rush forward and go for his touch armor class.
24.
Yeah, easy peasy on his touch armor class.
Okay, marvelous. In which case, can he then please do a DC 20 fortitude save?
DC 20 fortitude. Okay.
Yes.
That was damn close. That is a failure, though.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so I touch him, and he is essentially like this new body. Its hand, as I reach forward, my hand of this new body looks and it goes suddenly weirdly kind of decrepit and undead looking. I touch him, and it's as if he has been touched by a ghoul, and he is completely paralyzed for 1d6 plus 2, so 6, 7, 8 rounds. Within that 8 rounds, I beat him unconscious with a cudgel. Literally, I touch him, he falls to the floor, completely paralyzed, and then it's just... really gnarly, because
Like,
he just isn't very good at...
We will just say that how many rounds, sorry?
It would be 8 rounds.
8 rounds of continuous auto crits against him effectively just puts him in a coma. Like, he's just...
Yeah.
He's not dead.
Oh, yeah.
He's not dead.
It's
but
only
he's...
non-lethal because that's what the weapon does. Obsidian couldn't give a shit about non-lethal. He wants them all.
He's as good as, like, he won't be the same ever again if he ever does wake up. Put it that way.
Nice.
You're just smashing the lights out of him, and Swiftstone eventually standing over you will just like put a hand on your shoulder and say, "Is that you boys?"
No, we're just members of the Watch.
Members of the Watch.
Aye, members
Curse
of
the
the Watch.
non-believers.
And as you say, we are members of the Watch, I think that would be a fantastic place for us to take our break. So, for those watching live and after the fact, thank you ever so much for joining us. Immensely fun so far to watch these machinations play out. What will happen as we return? We will find out in a short moment. Don't go away.
It's going too well, I think we know.
Yeah.
It's going to go poorly from here.
We shall see. Be right back. We have returned. And we actually returned to Runyk, who, as you may recall, has now freed himself from the dreadful Cell of Thorns, and is now stolen his way down there, taken out a member of the Watch, a Watch acolyte, and has now used Borin to look around the corner to behold two people standing guard over inventory in the jail, and let's not forget there's also the other guard currently dominated for an hour that is being a bit of a distraction as well. So that is where I ask Runyk, what do you do now?
Well, Runyk will tell that guard, step to your left.
Sidestep to your left. Off he
Sidestep
goes.
to your left. And as he does, I will step out as well.
Okay.
Using his footsteps to mask my own.
Ah, okay.
Sidestep again.
the two, you don't see them, but the two watch members are like,
once more to your right. Say, hey, come over here and have a look at this.
Come over here and have a look at this.
Point to the door.
They turn and say, what could it possibly be?
You won't believe this.
You won't believe this. Fine. They both come over.
Right. As soon as one of them gets into... That'll probably work, actually. I'm going to enact a surprise round.
Yeah, I will say because of that excellent work with the dominate spell-like person, that's more than enough distraction to initiate a surprise round. By all means, you act. What do you do?
I take a step forward, and as I do, I will make... I think it's a touch attack.
Yeah?
It
Okay.
is.
Great.
On the one nearest.
Uh-huh, yeah, I've got his touch. Roll it up.
5, okay. 7, 6. Put to the wrong thing. 14 to his touch.
Yeah,
/
hits on his touch, absolutely, yep. Yeah, and he is also flat-footed, so... Yep, you catch him, you touch him, what do you do?
This is a power called Empathic Transfer Hostile.
Okay.
Can he make DC 18 will save?
Will save, okay. Well, he's alright at will, I will warn you.
That's okay.
Not today, however.
Excellent. I've taken damage. I'm not at full health.
No, you took 4, I think. 4 or 5 points of bludgeoning.
I've taken more than that.
Have you? Oh, shit.
I'm not at max.
I know you're not. I thought you had like 12 and you've already taken a smack to bludgeon. Anyway, tell me what you're doing. Explain what you're doing.
I exchanged essentially all the damage I've taken from my max health up to 50 hit points. I transfer up to my maximum 44 hit points onto him of damage, and I pull as much of that as he has into me as healing.
That is amazing!
Okay, so you take 25 points of HP.
And he takes 44 points of damage.
Oh my god, that is incredible. So the psychic memory is transferred into psychic power that is inflicted upon this guy as you touch him. What is it like as he himself tastes the full might of the Watch upon himself?
Both his femurs instantly shatter.
Oh no!
Explain, what is it like, Mike?
They don't, fortunately, but seeing as this power is called empathic transfer,
Okay.
what I do, I reach into his mind, and I find his memories of sleep, of rest, of dining, and I pull those from his mind and instill that rest into me. And then I take the memories of the Iron Maiden, of my shins, of my body being crushed, and I mentally thrust that into his mind.
Like he just screeches as 1,000 different awful sensations echo in his being all at once. And the guy standing next to him just leaps out of his skin. By Cuthbert's good grace! Roll initiative.
It's 2-on-1. This is good.
Yes.
Oh, 9.
He gets to go first then in that case. Are you rolling for the boy as well, or he just goes on your turn, I imagine, right? As he's...
I imagine it's on my turn, yeah.
will rush in and just try and strike you. Armor class?
11.
That is a 3 on the die. That is a miss. What is it like? As somehow he just, he either fluffs it next to his companion or you dodge. What is it like?
You know what? I'm still holding on to his mate. And as he reaches around, I just throw his mate into him. Not to hurt him, but just enough to throw him off balance slightly.
Amazing, yeah. And it just knocks the blow aside, and the Watch Acolyte finds himself, pushed into the wall as his strike goes astray. That's his turn. It's you.
I am reluctant to spend too many power points. So, I will spend... This will provoke an attack opportunity, as I will move away.
He'll take it. Whiffs again, rolls exactly the same number, so you just jolt out the way he swings, you hear a whoom as the cudgel just misses your face.
Excellent. As a standard action, I will mentally tell the dominated one. This might require a bluff check.
Is that what you say to him?
No, I'll say, you need to stop him. He stands against everything the Watch has, and he slept with your mother.
He's going to do exactly what you tell him. So, but that fury of that personal revelation will drive him to do a 3 5-foot step in that case.
And he has to believe it because he's dominated.
And I don't think the guy will know that it's coming. So I think it's fair to say that it would be a flat-footed strike, at least for the initial attack. That is possibly a critical. That is a critical hit as the watch guy just steps out of nowhere and easily confirms the crit on the flat-footed armor class. It was written in the heavens. Mike, would you kindly roll a D100 for me, please?
73.
Please let it be. Please let it be. It's not. No, that's a shame. 73 is eye injured. -4 spot. 1d4 days. So, not great, unfortunately. His eye is injured for 4 days. The damage is max damage, however. Takes 10 points of bludgeoning damage. Bam! As he just strikes him like hard across the side of the neck. The guy gives a yelp, and you just watch as the two watch acolytes begin like struggling with each other, like in the corridor. It's starting to make quite a lot of noise, I will point out as well, just for the record. Nothing crazy yet, but like obviously like it's all a bit of a surprise, so he hasn't. Yeah, we'll see. So that was 10 points of damage to him. We're back to the top of the round. It's him. He is going to try and strike out at the guy that struck him. That is a hit. And does him for 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Like, pushes the guy away and just welts him in the stomach. The watch guy that you have control over doubles over with pain. And as he welts him, it's going to close the gap with you. That's his turn. Your turn.
I think Runyk would hold off until the other one has acted.
You want to delay a turn?
Yeah, I'll let the other one act.
He is going to, in that case, do a free 5-foot step to flank him, and he is going to bring the cudgel high and strikes him across the back with it. Oh my god, this guy's a killer. You hear like a crunch as several ribs break in the man as like he brings the cudgel against him. Non-lethal, but still savage blows. That's his turn. You delayed. You have to take your turn now if you don't want to lose it.
Yes, so this will now provoke attack of opportunity.
Swings. That is a hit. For 5 points of bludgeoning damage. Dunk! You're just a dull thud as the cudgel just like cracks you across the side. But you stagger over to the other side of the corridor. What do you do now?
That is it for the moment. Well,
yeah, you begin rushing. You see that there is a corridor that winds down there. We're back to the top of the round. I'm going to make a listen check. Okay. By the way, as you get down there, as you can see on the screen, you can see that there are chests there. There is a bag with some belongings. Actually, give me, as it was the end of your turn, give me a spot check just to see if you can immediately identify your stuff. Not going to be too hard. Everyone can recognise their own belongings, after all.
17.
Yeah, you spot your belongings. They actually rest in that bag in the corner, on the left corner. That's where your stuff is.
Cool.
Yep. So yeah, back to the top of the round. This guy who has been smacked realizes he just needs to get rid of this guy as best as he can, so he will just strike at him. But misses. Your dominated watch ally just like dodges aside as the cudgel falls and finds no mark. He will now take his turn. That is a hit. And there is a crack you hear as the cudgel like lands hard on the guy's jaw. His whole form twists as your newfound dominated watch ally lands the final blow. The man collapses to the ground unconscious. Come and look over here then, he says again.
Put the bodies in a cell.
I'll put the bodies in a cell.
Be silent.
Yeah, he with the help of your keys, he's able to put them in and lock the door on each.
Right. I will quickly grab my belongings.
Yeah, you grab your belongings. As you do so, can you make a listen check, please?
It is that. Ooh.
You can actually hear some laughter ringing from down the hall that your back's to. As you get your belongings, I will allow you to be able to put all of your stuff on just there in a hurry. You don't wear armor and stuff, really, do you? Or if you do, nothing to speak of. So it won't take you long to get dressed. Clothes and stuff. You also, can you roll me a d6 for me, please?
1.
You find 1 cure moderate wounds potion.
Yes.
There's also some bits, but clearly there aren't any other adventurers trapped in here, because there isn't super loot in these chests. It's mainly just standard belongings of people that have been housed in here. Some for short periods, some for a very, very long time. So what you find there is of little consequence, but there will be a fair amount of just wealth that have been taken from people and accounted for. So you can give me a roll of a D. You can give me a D100 roll, please.
53.
You find 530 gold pieces. And yeah, your listen check, sorry. So you hear a hollow laughter ringing from down the hall. That is at your back. You see that there is a door ajar down there. And then you can hear the telltale echo of an intense conversation occurring down the hall.
Right. Answer me this. Where is the way out?
The guard, the watchman, sort of points to a place rather nearby. Points to the staircase here. That sort of winds up into unseen darkness. Yeah, that's what you see, and that's what he points at.
Where does it go?
Why, it goes into the belly of the castle. Through the lower portions of Castle Valdenor. The nearest place of reckoning or of note is the Chamber of Rest.
Are the Graves family held here?
The woman is in the company of the first voice.
Okay, that's his family. Cool. Runyk does not know the size of Obsidian's family. Who else is down here?
This is where the Watch keep their primary quarters. They like to stay close. Another hollow laughter comes from the corridor that goes down on the screen.
They're wearing robes, right?
He's wearing robes, you mean, sorry?
Yeah, one of the bodies in the cell.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to attempt a really bad disguise.
Yeah, okay, well, you will have a basic thing with just wearing the robes. That will be enough to give you a bit of an advantage, but yeah, you can make a disguise roll for me. That is just one disguise, isn't it? Yeah, that's just a skill. You can do disguise. So roll it up.
Charisma.
Roll them bones.
14.
Okay, I was going to say you'd get a +5 because you have watch robes, so that's 19 in total, which is respectable, I think. So make a note of 19 for me if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're able to pull on these robes, and they're probably not too different to what you would wear, like loose fitting perhaps, so not armor basically, but padded in at certain areas, obviously meant to wear by it. You'd be able to scrap with them on, basically. Borin says,
right.
What now, Runyk?
Well, firstly, I'm going to quaff a cure moderate wounds potion, just to be it.
What a great idea, so you can roll that.
That takes me to my new maximum.
Great, yeah, so you feel life coursing through you. Your wounds slowly knitting together. The ability's damage still weighs heavy on you, but at least your health is returning.
Good. Right. Borin, let us do the quickest of checks. Any ally here might be useful. But I don't want to stay here any longer than we have to. That sound is coming from down there. This corridor. So let's just check and see if there's anything around there. And if not, let's get the hell out of here.
When I first arrived here, Runyk, there is another cell block exactly the same as yours on the far side. That contains a number of the Watch. I had to look for you there first before determining that you were in the other place. Down there, however, I can't account for, but that voice sounds familiar. They appear to be having some debate or other.
That voice?
Yes.
Pointing at the other Watch. What is your name?
Ernst. Brother Ernst.
Brother Ernst. I'm Brother Borin. Come with me.
It is an honor to meet you, Brother Borin. He'll come with you.
Runyk, you say this voice is similar?
Yes, it comes from the chamber on the left. So the way you'd be looking down there, it's actually, if we're looking at it, it's the right, but to you it would be the left. No, so the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That one.
Okay.
Yeah, there appears to be a voice coming from there.
Right. Ernst. Let yourself in. Walk into that room for me.
Very well. I'll walk into that room for you. He does. He goes to the door.
Borin, with him.
The door opens, and Borin would see this and begins mentally describing it to you, so you're almost able to build a picture up in your mind. The man goes in and just stands there, but doesn't. No one really pays any heed to him. And from there, you can perceive through Borin's mental description that there is a twisted form of remains on a huge rack that has been positioned in this chamber. There is also a familiar sight, a large iron maiden, blackened with scorch marks. And you hear voices, once mirthful, now turned tense, with conspiracy almost. The voice is something that you recognise. You can hear it from there. You recognise it to be the voice of your primary torturer, Knight Brother Enos, who stands there before two members of the Watch. Borin describes them both wearing black and red robes. And another a voice you don't recognise of one of those watchmen speaks and says, no, sorry, Knight Brother Enos will speak first, and he will say, Knight Brother Lanka and Fogwill ride for Starspire. The conspiracy in the north spreads like wildfire, and the traitors must be dealt with. Therefore, I have just received the missive that I hold command in the city now. A voice that you don't recognise comes through now and says, then I urge you, Knight Brother, use your command to order a full withdrawal from Valdenor. The commission from the first voice is worthless when the heir arrives. They see even now that Prince Randon rides with the Wormadon. They will return to the city, and the heir will overturn the will of Apophis, and we will be at the mercy of the Dragon Guard and the Wormadon both. There is a deadly silence for a time. Mercy, Brother Enos's voice echoes, cold like frost. Mercy. Do you forget so easily, Brother Ince? Mercy is for the weak. We are the Watch. We shall follow the tenets of our order. Our commission holds legal weight, and our garrison of the castle is righteous in nature. When the young prince arrives, we stand ready to assist in the defeat of the undead menace that grips the first voice. We fulfill our duty to eradicate the darkness and fortify relations with a new king and a new era. That is what you hear currently, Runyk. Do you continue to listen, or what?
No. Borin, as much as I want to get even with the man who tortured me, I don't know why I'm whispering. He's a mental communication, but still.
Sure.
Mentally quiet. We need to get out of here, and I'm not equipped to fight.
Okay.
Many more. Ernst, walk into the middle of that room and start singing your best tavern song. Borin with me.
I shall walk into the centre of the room and start singing my best Tamil song. And as you make your way out, you could hear a song that goes along the lines of, "You can lash my toes, you can beat my knees, you can twist my ears right off. You can do something, something to do with the watch." And like you hear that echoing, like, and then you hear like abrupt, viciously angry shouting, and then the sound and the fall of many cudgels landing upon
the sort of people that think all music is sinful.
Yes, like this is like a pure demonstration of sin, and you will pay for this. And he is broken upon the ground of the jail, Runyk, as you make your way from the dungeon. And we will return. Thank you. And we will return to Runyk as you begin stealing your way into the depths of the castle. We move back to the lower portions of the city and to the familiar area of Graves and Co. However, as familiar as this place is, unfamiliar are the people that stand there. Two members of the Watch stand before Swiftstone, who with like a gleaming psionic dagger that disappears in his hand, for he didn't need to use it, will look up at you and say, "My God, it actually worked. You're a crafty one, aren't you?"
He's full of surprises.
Can you both give me a listen check, please?
Listen.
Yeah.
Yo, listen.
Listen up, here's the story.
Do I have any ranks in listeners?
16.
19.
Better at it than me.
Oh, okay. Obsidian, you don't hear anything. However, it's almost like Swiftstone's ears prick up like a fox's, but Ansel, you are just a little bit quicker. You hear of something collapsing, as if something's like tripped over or dropped something from the in the coffin display room.
In the coffin display room?
Yeah, the one next to where you're in, yeah.
Nothing changes, but Ansel teleports into that room. So he leaves behind the major image, and he's going to teleport into the 5, 10.
So we have no idea you've gone. Just assume you're still stood there.
Yeah. Can I teleport under the table?
Yeah, you can teleport under the table. You pretty much know everything about the... You spent many, many long days here, so you know pretty much the ins and outs of the area.
Slept in there a couple of times.
Yeah, you've slept in that very room.
Yeah, to be fair, he has slept in there.
Yeah, you've slept in that room. Yeah, so you absolutely do that. So feel free to move yourself into there if you can.
I only feel in control of my actual avatar, not...
Oh, well, this is a good question.
Shall we...
I think for now, let's just use you guys, yeah? That'll probably be easier.
just to avoid confusion.
But we'll remember what you look like for sure. So you zip zoom and teleport into there. Was that the flee the scene thing? So you do leave a visual of you.
It was flee the scene.
Fantastic.
Yeah. For 6 seconds.
Yep. And then so you
in those 6 seconds he says, I'm just going to take a look. Or maybe even, I'm currently taking a look. As it's while he's looking.
Fantastic. So bear with me 1 second.
You look. So Obsidian goes over and just goes.
It steps back to avoid.
Like, wow, it's really real. It's quite impressive.
You appear under the table in the sort of like the burnt Graves & Co. coffin display area. Now, I should have really said this to you as you were approaching, but no, I shouldn't have, because you didn't actually visualize Graves & Co. when you first arrived, because you were in the magic jar, so you wouldn't have seen. So you see that the structure of Graves & Co. still stands. There is old stone here, and much more than fire would be needed to bring down such a thing, but quite a lot of the area is damaged. It probably is more damaged than how we can visualize it here, so you'll just have to imagine it. But so the innards are basically gutted, but for a few items that Ansel, that you were able to retrieve during the fire. But in the ash and rummaging through what remains of the rubble is a figure that you recognise, hunched over in a ruinous old cloak, is Old Man Olam, who is shifting through the rubble of the place as you look at him, Ansel.
Ansel will see him and he says, "You!" from under the table, and I think he... So when somebody's like possessed in horror films,
Sure.
They don't walk normally. Yeah. He like scrambles across the across the floor, like leaping over things to here.
Yeah,
and grabs Olam, and he's gonna go on.
No, he will just freak as like at first he would shout, "Oh, good morning," or rather at this point, early afternoon, "Good afternoon, sir," like to try and make some pretense that he's been caught by an authority figure. But then you scramble towards him in this way, and his words are just caught in his throat. He is frozen to the spot as you close the distance with him, and you seize hold of him. I did not know anyone was. I did not know anyone is here. And
dimension door him into the other room. There, he does get a will save if he wants to resist.
He will definitely try. Oh, look.
How many times can you do that?
As much as I want, once per round.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's an invocation thing. DC 20.
So he is dragged through the swift step through the worlds and through the gap in places. You drag him with you to wherever you like as he fails.
So it'd just be into the corner of the room over here.
Yeah. So he and as you appear there, he loses balance totally and is flung across the room and lands in a heap at another watch person's feet. And he goes, "Of course, I have every respect for what you've been doing. I just wanted to make sure that the heathens, the apostates, had all been accounted for here. You must understand, of course."
How do we play this? Break his legs.
Smack.
No. I'll hold the cudgel out and point at him with it. We are fully aware of you. You are on our radar. Olam.
Well, I have to say that I am humbled that such a prestige and respected order knows of my presence. It is humbling.
Of your suspicious activities.
Well, to say suspicious, but I like to think that I work for the common good, as do we all. Like you can see, like sweat, like pooling down his face, like he clutches like a bag, that has some contents or other.
What's in the bag?
Oh no, nothing of consequence. Nothing that
Some
you would
form
be
of
interested.
necromantic contraband. Empty it on the.
I don't think you would want me to do that.
Are you resisting?
No, very well, but just allow me to
Cudgel back.
just allow me to do it somewhat carefully. The contents are rather delicate. For a friend.
Go ahead.
He opens the bag and he brings forth two things. One is a large vial of some black substance or other. A substance that you recognise, Obsidian. This is another vial of the black sand. The first vial that he had given to you. This is that substance that when you spill across an area, basically is like creates a field of negative energy. Whenever you're touching it, you can basically... negative damage comes from it. That is an item that you've already received in the game, by the way. You already have one vial of it. This that he'd given to you previously. You can look up as the spell Black Sand. So there's a vial of that, but also neatly wrapped there is an ornate black coat. I say ornate. The collar lining is ornate. The rest is just jet black and smooth and silky and flowing. It's wrapped rather neatly, and he says, is of course something that I wanted to get rid of at the earliest convenience. Nothing that would interest you.
I look at Ansel and I'll say, Commander, you're better at this sort of thing than I. You know what this is.
To me, he's saying that.
Yeah.
Contraband!
Yeah, you stare at it and your magical powers take into effect. So, yeah, you can confirm effectively what Bogram thinks of the black sand. You see it as this powerful necromantic substance that can be summoned and will just effectively do continual negative energy damage, which of course is great for Obsidian, particularly when he is in dire straits. But the cloak is something to be considered as well. It is a powerful cloak that exudes. You could tell that it is a cloak that would wield influence and esteem, magical power, and the raw power of personality and charisma. Before you, there is a +4 cloak of charisma.
Oh my dear God.
Well, this is a powerful dark artifact.
It was something that I intended to return to a friend that I have to say have disappointed, so I brought this for him. It's nothing to do with me.
Hand it to my colleague.
You see him sort of like poise for a second, the kind of poise that like a frightened animal gets into the position of like, can I run kind of poise. Like, you can tell that Olam isn't exactly ever been the bravest person, but he's also clearly brought this here for a reason and doesn't want to die here. So he there's like an instant where he goes, well, of course, and like he's holding that vial rather delicately in two fingers.
Ansel says, hand it over to my colleague, and you will hand it over to your good friend.
He's very confused by that, and that will have to be some kind of check, I think. That can be diplomacy, intimidate, whatever you want.
We can try diplomacy. I don't have my cloak of charisma on, though, do I? So I'm at slight.
Oh, you already have
negative.
Yeah, of course.
A 9.
So he doesn't roll particularly well, but he still beats a 9. So he says, gentlemen, please, I beg you. And you see his hand sort of like strays like this, as if like he has like his hand on the pin of a grenade, effectively. Like, this is his only bargaining chip. This is the moment where someone shouts, he's got a thermal detonator. This to him is that moment where this is the only thing in his mind that can vanquish probably himself, but also the mere mortals that stand before him, or so he believes.
I'll take it from him carefully, and I'll look him in the eye. And although obviously we've had this thing with him recently, he was still a friend through my life. He was still my mentor, and still sort of grew up. Well, he grew up, I don't suppose. I don't think I knew him when I was like a child or anything, but like in my adult years, he's been an influence and a friend. And I'll take it from him and say, Olam, are you familiar with the magic jar?
The magic? And he sort of looks at you and then... Why, yes, I am. If this is to be it, then I shall die an honest man. Yes, I know, the magic jar. Why would you speak of it?
You were a mentor to me once, and a good friend. And so I entrust you with this information. They've taken my family, Olam, and using this body, my friend and I intend to take them back.
You see realization dawn in his eyes, and he yells and he hurls himself to the ground at your knees, and he says, Bogram, it is you! You have ascended in power so greatly! Could it truly be you? And he looks up at you, like his old form quaking, and he says, the moment I saw what had happened, I could not help but blame myself. I have brought this ruin upon you. I came to see if I could salvage anything, if I could find out if you were alive or dead, and I could find no one. I brought this for you. And he immediately goes into trying to thrust the items upon you. Obviously you've already got the black sand, but he says, this cloak, it is something that I have held close for a long time, but it is you, it is meant for you. Please adorn it upon yourself and forgive my transgressions.
Well, I will adorn it upon myself. Olam, you are guilty of making mistakes, perhaps, but you did not bring this upon me. Fanaticism brought this upon me, and my own carelessness. But I do appreciate your help.
Do you mean this one is one of yours as well? You look very strange to me, elf. He points at you, Ansel.
Ansel reaches up to his ears. Am I an elf? Oh, you mean... Oh.
The other one.
The other one.
Oh, I see. And then what he'll do is he'll stand up and he will throw the cloak around you and say, forgive me. I was a coward. But at least with this, I could be, perhaps, a small part in helping your family. You say they live?
I believe that they still live.
We've no reason to believe otherwise.
For now, at least.
What can I do?
We intend to infiltrate the castle and the watch and take them back.
Then let me help you. Let me be of some use to you. I will not flee from the watch as I did the Lightbreakers.
The problem with this, of course, I think if I ask him to help, it will almost be a death sentence if he tries to help in any way that is opposing the watch.
He'll also 100% flee like he did with the Light Raiders.
Absolutely.
His power is...
I mean,
yeah, you don't know about his power.
I have some sort of trust in him to an extent, not to fully betray me, but I'm not sure I trust him enough to, like, say, please watch over do you know anywhere safe for the family or whatever. I don't know that I trust him enough to not try and make zombies out of them.
Can you both give me a knowledge arcana roll, please?
Pretty sure we can definitely both do that.
Oh dear.
Ah! Hang on.
14.
14 from Ansel.
I've actually got an extra one because he's just put that cloak on me. Haha. 29. Jesus.
Yeah, to your knowledge, a fine, probably the finest cloak you've ever adorned. Obsidian, absolutely, is exactly what it says on the tin. +4 cloak of charisma. You note that he's even gone to the length of Matt using arcane mark to like produce some kind of iconography or some glyph upon there. You can decide what that looks like. Perhaps if Graves does have like a symbol, that would be what it is, perhaps.
I mean, I know I think Obsidian has a symbol that I know it's probably a bit of a cliche, but screw it. He is a walking cliche because of his...
Absolutely.
He is just desperate to be an edgelord. That's the whole point, even though he really isn't one. So I think it's kind of like a raven skull type of like outline.
I love that. That's awesome.
Very, very Edgar Allan Poe kind of thing.
Yes, oh, no, that's perfect. I love that.
And but I think he will be very grateful, but he won't keep it on for the moment. Maybe all right. Olam, do you know of a safe place, a safe house of some sort?
Yes,
somewhere out of the way.
With the soaring mortalities within this city, the dead now line the streets, and many houses have now been abandoned, such is the fear that the city folk have had whilst living here in the past days. You probably haven't even noticed because you've probably been on this mission so long, but yeah, the streets of Aldenor don't appear to be as bustling as they used to be. He is right. Some in some areas, particularly the poor areas, the dead are beginning to line the streets. Like, tended for and careful,
closer to
people that were on the verge of slipping over have slipped over. And such, so
the people that were unhealthy, and
it's really starting to have an effect on the city. Even though now that you have in your possession the fugue prism, it's obviously done its damage.
Prism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, he says there is an abandoned house, one that belonged to a fairly wealthy merchant, one that I know of that I may inhabit, that I've taken note of, shall we say. Why do you ask?
My family, when they are freed, before this is over, before we hopefully fix things, clear my name and all, we'll need somewhere to go where the watch cannot find them.
Yes, I understand. I shall make it my utmost priority to ensure that they are safe, Bogram.
I will send them to you, and then you can stow them away. I actually, now thinking about it, he's been left with my family for a while without me around, and he's never hurt them or anything. He's I think, as much as he is questionable as far as some of his ideals and what he gets up to, I think he likes them, and I don't think he would do anything to them. So It's a good shout.
Very good. So he will give like a nod and say, "Good luck. I will focus on the dark powers that are in my heart, and hope that you come out of this the other side. I know you will. Bogram, you have become everything that I am not." And he puts a hand on your shoulder and he'll say, "And I am so proud of you. Now go, while there is still time."
Ansel, in our discussions, for no reason, have we now changed our mind? Do we think it's probably a good idea to get ourselves? It's a good way in, isn't it, to say that we slayed ourselves? I mean,
yeah, we could have come back and been overwhelmed by the 4 people in here, couldn't we? You know, it's not,
yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
beyond the realm of possibility.
I mean, in the condition that we were in and whatever, like, for sure. And they don't know how good I am at healing myself, so they have no idea that I was
And
back.
to be fair, all they saw of Ansel was him like teleporting around and running away, so he's not.
Yeah, they really don't know, I don't think, quite what we're about. They have ideas, but they don't know how tough we are. So to say that they took us out is you know. So I think that we will, in place of what we said about placing all their gear in a bag and all of that, we will have kept their gear with them, and we will retrieve the bodies.
Okay, yeah, you
Of
retrieve
Ansel
yourselves.
Obsidian.
Very surreal experience as you stand over your lifeless forms and pick them up, and perhaps Swiftstone could have got like a wagon or so. Didn't bring it up at the time, Obsidian, but the necro wagon is suspiciously absent as well, I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, I had noticed that it was gone, but you know, kids are going to be gutted if Mr. Nobby's gone. They were a fan.
Yep.
You know, they loved Mr. Nobby. But yeah, we'll load the bodies on and make our way.
You make your way.
When we're loading the bodies on, Ansel turns to Obsidian and says, "I do look very strange, don't I? Compared to everyone else." I thought I looked just like you. More or less.
Oh, Obsidian will say it's strange, like when you first see a type of flower for the first time, like an exotic plant or something. Like initially it might be unusual to you, but after some time it just becomes that thing. You are you, and I mean, strange is very... I'm trying to think of the word. It's very... depends on your point of view.
Subjective?
Subjective. Thank you very much, Mike. Had a brain freeze. Yeah, it's very subjective.
Well, that's a very nice way of putting it.
I mean...
And, Bogram, you too.
Look at the state of this. As I point out my old-ass body that's got a little bit of a belly, you know, but he's sort of skinny. Kind of grey hair that's been badly dyed. Like...
But you have legacy. Bogram, you have legacy.
Well, I hope so.
You do. We'll see to
it.
Right. So
we'll load on the 2 bodies of the dead watch members as well, because I don't think they'd leave members of their own behind. So we'll be like, and we'll place them. We'll sort of pile the bodies of Obsidian and Ansel. I know it's a bit harsh, but like lob them on, and we'll sit respectfully, the members of the watch, so that it's a bit more like these are our brothers, our fallen brothers.
With like cudgels
Yeah.
clutched in the...
Lay flat, like, yeah.
Yeah. Very respectful.
Yeah. This brings a new meaning to, like, self-respect, and we're showing some self-disrespect right now.
Just casting them on top of each other, and yes, well, has to be done. And we watch then as these strangers in unfamiliar clothing walk with this wagon. Swiftstone in tow as well. Do you want him to be with you still?
We can say that he helped take them down. It kind of maybe restore his standing a little, because he is sort of on their side, isn't he? Like, according to them, or in with the court.
He's in with the court.
So,
sure. Yeah.
And I mean, it would be very.
If he
handy.
thinks he can get away with being present, then yeah. Otherwise, I guess it's his sort of judgment call, isn't it? But
it'd be handy to have around if things go sideways.
I've always maintained an ambiguous opinion of what has been transpiring in the city. This will be a perfect time to say, for the good of the city, the strangers had to die.
I don't like how you said that, Swiftstone.
I'm in character, Ansel.
very
What do you
convincing.
expect?
It's
I'm a
very
spy. I have to be convincing.
It's a good spy. Yeah. So we're going to the garrison, because we think that's where the jail is.
No, the jail is under the
Or are we
castle.
going-
The garrison is separate, and that's where the Dragon Guard are held. In fact, Swiftstone will say, if you want to make your way in, I'll split up and go and alert Danako of the Dragon Guard of what is occurring. He'll need to be
Yeah.
briefed. I'll need time.
That's actually a good shout. Yeah, so he can do that. So we'll drop him off nearer the castle, make our way to the castle, head into the castle, and present these bodies, and hope that we can be put before Apophis in,
Aye, very well.
some kind of commendation.
And as you begin your journey towards the castle, then our vision moves to the great sweeping structure that is Castle Valdemar, and just have a quick look at it from a distance. So that is what we see
Look
as
how
our
handsome
vision.
it is.
Yes, that's what we see as we our vision moves closer and closer and closer and closer through windows and corridors and downstairs and upstairs until we see, pressed against the wall, doing his best not to be seen by anyone, is Runyk. Runyk, you are in the heart of Castle Valinor, and it is entirely garrisoned by members of the Watch. Now, as you will recall, when Silastra and Ansel made their way through the castle, we conducted a skill challenge. Now, this skill challenge is going to be 5 successes before 5 failures, okay? And I'm making this clear this time because I didn't last time when we did the mountain ascent one. I wasn't clear enough. So this basically means you have to make 5 successful skill checks before you make 5 unsuccessful skill checks. These are going to rely on your improvisation and how you would best put your skills to good use, okay? So, with that in mind, I don't know, can we make a tally on the screen? Or we can do it in the chat maybe? It doesn't matter.
We could count upwards.
I mean, we can do the whole freehand drawing on the screen so you can tally.
Already got you.
Great.
You can delete it later.
On the beautiful artwork, okay.
That's stunning, Mike.
Good work.
So on the
You're an
left you can
artist.
see a scraggly tick. On the right you can see a self-flagellating piteous X. That is our table. So, Runyk, I ask you, as you steal your way through the dungeons and the underbelly, first of all, of Castle Valdemar, what skill do you rely on first? And as a point, you can only use one skill once. So you have to go through 5 of your best skills, and you can only use them once. And you can't, even if you're then forced to use the ones that you have nothing in eventually, that's where we get to until the result is decided. All right.
I'll start then as I robed.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have picked up a cudgel as well.
Yeah, you've got the cudgel.
I am going to leave the dungeon, and as I do, I'm going to bluff my way past the people in the front of the dungeons.
Yeah, you pass 2 members of the watch saying, "These rashers are horse shit," and then you pass by. What do you say?
I say, okay, 22. Tell me about it. They're no better down in the dungeons.
Yeah, tell me about it. Probably rather go hungry like the rest of those filthy prisoners, those ingrates. Still, starvation is a road to Cuthbert, is it not?
That it is. Cuthbert does teach hunger and vigilance through it.
As you say the word hunger, can you give me a will save, please?
Oh no. That's that, okay. 28.
I should correct myself. It's not when you say the word hunger, but the idea of it. You feel like there's some kind of anger that's just through you, some righteous fury at these fanatics that have caused you so much pain. But your save is fantastic, and you sort of maintain your composure. You made a successful bluff check, so you are able to move on. That is 1 success.
Okay.
You continue on your way. You're still in the lower portions of the castle, and having never been in the castle before, you're sort of having to improvise as you go. But you realise that as a dwarf, you know that you were underground. We learned that before last session, so you know you've got to go up. So you find a staircase, and as you go up the staircase, you encounter something. But let's find out what skill you use next to escape the castle.
Can I use a knowledge architecture?
Do you have knowledge architecture?
I do.
Absolutely, then yes. Oh my god, yes, fantastic.
As I maybe find passages and I'm able to navigate my way through.
Yeah.
Or not.
That is a failure. Yeah, you think to yourself, "Oh, this is clearly built in the height of the Third Era," and completely failing to acknowledge that this is the oldest castle in the realm. This was constructed in the twilight of the First Era. You should have known that, obvious, but you don't get that. So you think that some kind of architectural pattern leads you one way, but it actually leads you deeper into the bowels of the castle. So that's 1 for 1. What's your next skill?
Okay. Straight in then, one of my best. I'm going to attempt, as I encounter some more watchmen, to use diplomacy to say, I still can't get used to this building. I keep getting lost. Where was the main hall?
The main hall? Well, and we'll see what they say when you give me that bluff check. Or diplomacy check, sorry.
Diplomacy. 28.
You're way off, brother. You need to head back the way you came, down those stairs, and follow the corridor on the right. Then you'll be in the floor above the Great Hall, and he keeps giving you directions, and you nod and continue. Fantastic. That is a success. Mark it on, and then choose your next skill.
Beautiful.
It's like a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
Right. Save that. Ooh. Okay. I use sense motive
Okay.
on a group of watchmen I see in front of me.
Yeah, you're following their patrol pattern, and yeah, you're sort of like reading their behaviour with your heightened psionic senses. Go on, roll it up.
30.
You know their continued, and you know in depth the person's like full motivations. You know, like he wants to like work to get higher in the ranks. Like he's thinking of like training it as a chaplain in the watch. But you also know that he's hungry and he's actually leading to the where the Great Hall and the mess hall is as well. So for the not royals, put it that way, and not the lords, but where other people would eat in the castle. So you follow them for a bit. Congratulations, that's a success. 2 more to win. What's next?
We've never done this. I don't remember the last time we have ever done this save.
Okay.
I go past like a small study, and I run into the study quickly, and I write out a quick missive using forgery.
Okay. Roll it up. That is a total failure on your part. So,
Oh dear.
So what was your intention? What was the missive going to say, first of all?
I was going to pen it. Permit Brother Borin. Basically, permit Brother Borin to the main hall, or something along those lines. But I obviously didn't get the words right because I obviously didn't know what I was going to write.
No, so you kind of like confuse the message halfway through. Your ink begins to leak and like smudge the page to the point where it says the main hall is boring or something like that. Like from the spelling of it, and like someone will look at it and go and like say, "This is disgraceful penmanship. Well, how am I meant to? What message is this?" And like you get like a chewing out from someone for like having put this missive here, and your disguise is nearly compromised. That is a lose on the. That's a failure on that one. We are neck and neck now, right? That's 3 for win, 3 for lose. Lose, is that right?
3 for 2.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So what's the next one?
Could I argue a psycraft check?
Is it a skill?
Yeah.
Then yes, you can.
I'm just trying to think. It's like spellcraft.
Yeah.
For psionics.
Yeah. It's a skill. You tell me how you use it.
Okay.
Psycraft is used for like auto memory, as I recall. So it could be a case of like you glimpse something that you photographic memory it or something, so you know the way.
Yeah, that was a 30, right? That was the most recent roll. Fantastic. Yeah, so with a 30, my goodness, there's something that like your unconscious mind picked up on. You are actually retracing the roots of where you were dragged when you were unconscious and being taken to the dungeon in the first place. You probably weren't even awake for that, but like some part of your mind was still working even then, Runyk. Still on the job even when you're not even awake. Fantastic. So with 4-2 at the wins at the moment, we're looking good. It's the last one. Make it a good one. What do you pick?
I will use.
Hopefully, it's the last one.
Concentration.
Okay.
To similar to when I kind of took myself out of pain to essentially discount everything around me and just focus purely on what I've just remembered.
Okay, roll it up.
30 again.
Oh my word! Yeah. So, what is it like then, as you're able? What's like the final moments of you meandering your way towards the to escape the castle? Then, what's the last thing?
Yeah, Runyk remembered this idea of how to get in where he was dragged, and then he just shuts down everything. The noise, other people passing, and focuses purely on that path as he walks his way back through to the main entrance.
And as you're coming to the main entrance, you can hear that there is a disturbance, actually, a great outcry. You can hear the clear ringing of war horns sounding almost in celebration. And there appear to be two individuals garbed in robes of the watch, pulling forth a cart which upon it has a number of slain individuals. One of their arms swings off the side of it, and a whisper is going up.
Oh no. Oh no.
Shit.
He's gonna think we're dead.
You look on your way out, Runyk. You're sort of like got your hood over, and yeah, you see for yourself.
Does he go past us?
Yeah,
We're like,
you're going one way as they're going the other way. The cart goes there, and you see lying there, totally lifeless, are the bodies of the two people that you had gone into the belly of the ruins of Belor. You see the body of Obsidian Graves and Ansel.
I know I'm probably screwing us over when I ask for this because neither of us are very good at it. But are we allowed a spot check to see if we can see past his disguise or anything? See if it's
DC 19.
Yeah, DC, absolutely. DC 19.
Kind of short for a dragon guard or a watch member.
that's true, he is a dwarf. What is it, spot?
19.
I need to
Yeah.
roll
Yep, spot.
19, right? Because if I match it, that's not a victory. So I need to roll 19. No. A short watch member.
Yes!
Oh yes, yes.
So you're walking out, dragging your own body on this cart, and then you do like a triple take. You go and see Runyk walking in the opposite direction in this like shrouded like watch robe that's obviously a bit too big for him, going the opposite way.
Ansel,
Another Academy meme.
yeah. Ansel will how's he gonna do it?
Well, how are we the only people sort of in earshot at the moment?
You're surrounded by an uproar of celebration. Like two what dearly wanted apostates are have been captured. So there's great celebration. There's throngs of people around you, like coming to see the two slain members of the strangers.
Cool.
Ansel will say, brother dwarf, where are you going? Join us for celebration.
Runyk, there's a watch member is like on you, and like it's a like out of nowhere, you've made this clean break, and then suddenly this guy is just like just not letting you go.
I'm needed in the streets, brother.
Can Ansel run over to him?
Yeah.
Ansel run over and put an arm round his shoulder and be like, just fucking come with us, I'll explain later.
This total stranger is shouting at you, Runyk.
And then he'll whisper in his ear, Runyk, it's Ansel, come with us.
And you can't quite believe it, but the voice is almost slightly similar in some way, Runyk. There is perhaps
The
like
tone of it's similar, even if the sound of it is different.
Oh my god, it's like Harry Potter and the Polyjuice potion.
Exactly.
Film. They look different, but it's still their little voices. But no one can tell.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so
Looks like we'll rest another day, Bogram. Let's go.
you can't help but feel like driven to this, Runyk, and yeah, you come with in that case. And Ansel, Obsidian, in your watch garb, you are led forth and say, "It has been ordered that the first voice would see those that brought in these enemies of the kingdom, so that he may enact the justice that is due them."
Very well.
You are led by members of the Watch, and you sort of like are side by side, like marched to the doors of the Great Hall, a place that you've been in once before, and there is a particular Watch person there, Brother Ince. You recognise the voice, Runyk, if not the exact description. Says, "This is where we leave you. It is the order of the first voice to speak with you. Not alone. Don't try anything too disrespectful, but you are to bring the bodies of the foe to him personally. You can do this, can't you?"
Is he talking to us?
Yeah.
Ansel, how good is your bluff?
It is fine,
Okay.
but I haven't taken any ranks in it. It's purely my charisma.
Oh. Okay. I just like it could really screw us. It's just that you outrank me. We're ranking the wrong way if we're trying to use like bluff and shit. But I mean, it doesn't matter really. For now, we just sort of agree. We will.
I can always command you to tell.
We fully. Yeah, I was going to say, what's that? What's that, my lord? Oh, my master in the fight received a blow to the throat and can speak in naught but a whisper. And has asked me to speak on his behalf. We are honoured to be the ones to bring these apostates before our Lord.
Yes, all apostates must be slain, brother.
I mean, you're in a full-on disguise, so I don't think anything would really give you away. You look like members of the Watch. You have with you the real bodies of the strangers, and the only thing that I will ask you to do is a sense motive.
Oh, that I'm crap at.
Agreed.
Ooh, 18.
That's good.
Bugger me, that could have been a lot worse, couldn't it?
17.
Runyk and Obsidian. This is weird. Why aren't any of the other members of the Watch going into the Great Hall? It's like
Well,
just you.
I mean,
Just you have been ordered to do this.
oh god, is someone playing a tune on like like the Red Wedding tune?
You don't feel like you've been made. You don't feel like you've been discovered. But it's just an odd thing. Why would that be the case?
We appear to be led in victorious, but the floor is covered in sheet plastic.
Hate to make a mess.
Is that a raincoat?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The doors swing open, and you are sort of like pressed through, and
Yes.
there he stands atop the flight of stairs. There is
Close enough.
Apophis, and flanking him, and indeed all down the Great Hall, there are castle guard. Give me a religion check, please, Obsidian. And indeed, anyone that has religion by all means.
No, it would be. I think does that have to be trained? I don't have any ranks in it.
Any check can be done as a straight intelligence, I think.
27.
It's just less specified.
Whoa.
11.
I only got a 12. 27, Runyk. Fucking hell. Very nice.
Runyk, having sort of had a very recent experience with this, you feel that there is some kind of there is an unlife that comes from the guards, the castle guards that stand at the feet of the great pillars of the Great Hall. And while they do not move, they have a malice about them. But yeah, they just are clearly standing vigil, but clearly aren't of this world. Something has happened to the castle guards here. And but at the top of the Great Hall, as you bring, I'm afraid to say I didn't have a cart ready. I do apologise. I didn't quite anticipate you bringing that in. So let's see.
I mean, don't even worry about it.
But you wheel the cart in with your bodies on. And Apophis stands there, and he will say, "So it is you, humble brothers of the Watch, that have triumphed where all others in this city have failed. I welcome you to receive honours for this service that you have done, Valdenor, this service that you have done, Orenthale, and indeed all of Main Realm. Come and stand before me. I, Apophis, the first voice, have much to share with you."
Forward?
Should we go forward? I mean, at this point, we are able to try and take him. And we can both try. So that's 2 different attempts.
Yeah, so you move closer, and your palms are hot,
Sweaty.
and sweaty as you kind of, as he sort of waiting expectantly at the top of these stairs. As you sort of stand there, you move forward a little bit. I see. He will say and continue. "I must say that while I find your efforts admirable, and while it is a service that you have done to the realm, it is a disappointment. I had rather had them alive. There are great plans in store for the coming days, and it is such a shame that they will not be here to witness them. You move closer? Or are you just standing there?
Yeah. I think we should move a bit closer. What do you think, Ansel? The problem with this, just so that we're fully frank and open about it, is if we attempt, it means that we have to release the bodies we're in. So we'll have one go, because they will probably, as soon as they're kind of like, oh, what the hell happened, and they've kind of regained themselves, they'll know something's gone wrong and sound the alarm. So we'll probably have the time to jump back into our bodies, which is a free action, and then attempt to take him.
So you continue moving up, pushing this cart with the slain with you. And he sort of got this almost vacant kind of expression, but a smile plays on his lips. The old man, bent and crooked, looking down upon you like some desiccated raven long past its time of living. And he says, it was, now that I come to think of it, a directive that those criminals should be kept alive. I would hear of their destruction, a feat that has evaded me and my allies for so long.
Well, sir, Mr. Lord of Prophets, allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Brother Moon. This is Brother Skelly, and Brother Brain here as well. Brother Skelly, is there anything, would you like to take the lead on this one?
Well, my lord.
Oh, good. I'm glad you realised it was you I was talking about.
The apostates were sadly significantly weakened and already close to death due to the actions of whoever was up against them the previous night. When they came to us, they were desperate. They took us by surprise, and our instincts and training kicked in. We believed that they would be able to survive our attacks. We did all we could. Due to their state, however, they did not.
This is a worthy tale, and you can't tell whether or not he is convinced. Roll a bluff check, please.
I would love to. A bluff. Bluff, bluff, bluff. Right. Okay. This is one less because I'm not wearing my robe and stuff at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
Still 28. It's a very well told lie, whether he believed it or not.
A compelling tale, and indeed one that you must detail to the scribes of the court. I would have it known by all what happened to those that defied the word of the first voice in such a troubling time. He's lying. No, he isn't. Yes, he is.
Who is he talking to? This was a thing, wasn't it? I know he's dominated, but like, what is that? something has got right. I think it's now or never, because something has figured this out. Whether it's him or whether it's like some voice in the background.
Come forward. I would have you accept your reward, your much-deserved reward. Yes.
I will.
Come for
Are we
your
within?
reward.
Sorry, before you. Are we within 60 feet of him? Because I want to use.
Almost.
Yeah, we are. I'll
Almost.
take
We
a
can-
5-foot step and then I'll use my
we
detect
can-
magic sight. Because I want to see what's going on. He's being weird.
Okay, so your magical sight is active. Very good. Yeah, you see that he is being weird, and he says, come forth, come and accept your reward. He says, there will be no reward for them, but much reward for us. Yes, we have seen it. We have seen it on the cards and in the stars. I have
Had
seen
enough
it
of this.
in the eyes of my lover. I have seen it in the souls of those we drank from. Ansel, you are looking... Hang on. Ansel did his thing first. Ansel, what you see with your magical sight, now that you're actually in range of Apophis, something that you were not the last time that you went to face him, last time you went up into the council tower, you weren't able to see him, only Silaster was. Had you looked, you would have seen quite clearly what you had seen in the darkness of the mirror. When you had looked at Apophis's position, you had seen that he had not one shadow, but 4. And now, stretching across the room, you see there are indeed 4 shadows, Apophis's own, and 3 others. Make your move, Obsidian.
Sorry, man, I thought you'd...
No, that's it. You can react.
At this point, I will very quickly just do as a side to Runyk and say, you may have to knock this body out. And I will immediately then, as a free action, go back into the crystal and make my attempt on Apophis.
Very good. So, Apophis needs to make a will save to prevent him from being
A will
switched.
save DC 24. Yeah.
And just to explain what's happening with him, you go into his body, yes? Or he goes into the jar?
Both.
He goes into the crystal and Obsidian goes into his body, right?
So his life force will go into the crystal, and I would go into his body. Yes.
Okay then. So in that case, the will save is
24. It is the DC.
Do you want me
And
to
like
do
I say,
it?
that you can have 2 attempts because Ansel can try as well if this doesn't work.
Okay, 24. Okay. What is it like when it doesn't work, just for the record? What happens when it doesn't work?
Well, I mean, nothing happens when it doesn't work. I attempt it and I just stay in the crystal and he stays in his body.
There is a moment where it doesn't appear like anything's happened, and Ansel, like, you hear Obsidian, like, whisper to you a moment, like, be ready, as you see these shadows seem to grow long from the position of Apophis, and then there is a and all of a sudden, Obsidian, you are standing at the top of the stairs, wearing the robes of the first voice, wearing the guise, the skin, the body of the first voice. And then you hear them. Oh, good. Fresh company. You hear these voices echoing around you. 3 voices to be exact. Voices of the 3 shadows that have been with Apophis this whole time. What do you make of this one, Sister Siren? Oh, I think he's rather handsome. You see that they're pointing down at the watch figures, not you, Obsidian.
Mm.
What do you say, Sister Saya? I say I sense something. A new one. A delicious mind to toy with. You can't help but feel that voice is directed to you. Behold, darlings, the sisters of the Sanguine Coven. You remember Derek Redhaven's boast of creating many different cults in his long lifetime. One of them was Savage Doom, one of them was the Blood Judges, one of them were the Lightbreakers, and he also mentioned the Sanguine Coven. And before you now materializing, there are 3 ghastly figures. Obsidian, you know them immediately to be vampires, but something more. Vampire witches. You see that there is Sister Siren, Sister Sia, and Sister Saya. 3 immensely powerful undead materialize behind you. And the members of the Castle Guard appear to sort of spring to life, great halberds raised and pointed towards you. And that is where we're going to leave the session for tonight.
Hell.
Oh, God.
More immensely powerful.
Ruh-roh.
I know, we're fucked. We're fucked. Again, we're fucked.
I actually have some PowerPoints, though. Just some.
You've got a couple. More than you had last time.
Not as much health. I mean, if I used to beef my armor class, then they've gone pretty much. But, you know.
So it has long been foreshadowed that Apophis has had 4 shadows. Foreshadow.
Very clever, Robert.
And there is the coming of the Sanguine Sisters, terrifying vampiric witches by the looks of it, ready to do battle. But what they know is unclear. However, you can probably glean from their names. We have Sister Siren, Sister Sia, and Sister Saya. Who knows what they can truly see with their magical gaze. We'll find out next time. So as we end, we will do what we always do. We will get our closing thoughts from our wonderful players. I think it'll be fun to start with Runyk, who had a bit of a roller coaster, I think, this session.
Yeah, he did. He, you know, he still has that thought of, I'm not going to die today. But he sweated a bit getting out of there. And then thinking, I'm going to leave. I've just seen them dead. So I need to leave, rest, and then find Swiftstone or something and make a plan. Until one of them just decides to be like, come with me. So now Runyk is... He's still not... Like, until they start moving, he's a bit like...
Yes.
Feels like he's caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment, but... Yeah.
I'd like to say that your improvisation with what PowerPoints you had was great. Depending on your role, was because I didn't want to make it easy at all. Like there was a chance that you would get nothing back, because there should be. I felt like there should have been like a chance where you just totally fuck it and you have no PowerPoints and you've somehow got to escape without your abilities. But because you were able to focus, you're able to get some back. And yeah, I loved how creative you were with it. Dominating that guy to like be the distraction, I thought was inspired. I love that very much. Anything else to add at the end there, Michael?
I had a few more tricks, but I wasn't expecting the jailer to be undead.
Yeah, what's going on with there then, eh? The watch turning a blind eye. And did you, I don't know if you caught, like, did you pick up on what they were saying in the sale at all?
yeah, Enos is the last one now leading because Lanka and Fogwell have gone to Starspire.
Gone up north.
Gone up that way.
So Starspire, you know to be the capital of Eldarium. Which would be a good way to go if you were going to head further north. So you imagine that's probably why they've gone that direction. Yeah, Starspire is the capital of Eldarium, the centre of the realm. Great. Well, really good effort. Matt, let's get your final thoughts.
It all went sort of according to plan until the end there, which is great. It was all lovely, and then we're up against vampires, and vampires, we're not good against vampires. We know we're not good against vampires. Vampires as well. We're not good against vampire spawn. I'm not a full-fledged vampire witches, three of them.
Three vampire witches.
Done for. I think this is another situation where we need to find some other way to get out of this that isn't open combat, because I don't think it's a fight we can win. So I think we need to think of some... I'm thinking of, like, they have sway using Apophis. And so to lose him would be very bad for business for them. So maybe we could sort of hold his body hostage. Now we have it almost in some way, or...
Runyk knows that Apophis' worth is rapidly diminishing with the prospect of some other people arriving as well. So who knows?
I just don't know what else we've got. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm very excited. I don't know. I think you underestimate yourself. We shall see. We shall see. Anything else further to add, Matt?
No, it was very silly, a lot of it, which is odd. But the whole session sort of opposed Bogram's mindset because he wasn't feeling silly, but it was quite silly at times. Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, he's absolutely desperate. And again, I mean, like, although I'm saying it would avoid open combat, whatever, actually, he's not really thinking that way. So yeah, we'll see what goes down in his desperate state to get his family back.
Very good. And finally, closing thoughts from Dom. What do you think? Anything to add?
Yeah, I enjoyed a bit of body snatching. I've been, ever since we started talking about that last week, I've enjoyed the idea of stealing some bodies. So, yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's got a bit sideways right at the end. It seemed like it was going too well, didn't it? And sure enough, it was. But yeah, I think it's. I think we can stand a reasonable chance if we do it right. It just depends, doesn't it? It depends if the rolls go in our favour, which they very rarely do.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on all the other dudes in the room as well, if they join in, and we don't know the situation fully yet and how it's like what the actual fundamentals of this is going to be. So,
and whose side the watch guy ends up on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, looking forward to seeing what's going to happen then.
Yes, and it is with great dismay, but also great anticipation that we can say that we are going to have 2 weeks off from Knights of the Apocalypse, for we journey to many different corners of the primary world. But fear not, in 2 weeks we will return to the secondary and see what happens when the strangers finally stand toe-to-toe with the Sanguine Coven themselves. So thank you ever so much for watching live and after the fact. If you've been watching live, give us a follow. We'd really appreciate it for you to follow us on Twitch, so you can catch us live. Hit the bell so then you know when we are going live, so you don't miss us. And also, if you're watching live and after the fact on YouTube, give us a like and perhaps a subscribe if you want to see more like this. Which leaves me only to say those fateful words: bone them rolls, gentlemen.
Bone them.
Take it easy. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.